Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to break down complex info into those really key insights designed just for you. Today, we're diving into IT jobs in Australia. It's a really dynamic area. We'll be pulling advice and insights from, the latest reports and expert guidance.
Exactly. And the goal here really is to give you a clear picture. Where's the demand? What
Yeah.
skills matter? And crucially, how you can navigate the opportunities over there. Doesn't matter if you're already in Australia or thinking about making the move.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Why Australia? I mean, it seems like a really hot destination for IT folks right now. What's actually driving that beyond, the great lifestyle?
Well, what's really interesting is the scale of it and how deliberate the growth seems to be. Australia's tech sector isn't just growing by itself. There's serious investment, a lot driven by government digital transformation projects, public and private sector. Plus, you've got this really strong startup scene pulling in venture capital. It feels structural, not just a temporary boom. And yeah, the whole post-COVID tech acceleration, that's definitely poured fuel on the fire, cementing Australia as a key digital hub.
That sounds like a massive shift, but with that kind of fast growth, are there maybe any growing pains, things newcomers should be aware of beyond just the opportunities?
That's a good point. Yeah, the pace can be intense. Sometimes companies are looking for people who can, hit the ground running almost immediately. And while the big cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane, are definitely the main hubs, you're also seeing regional areas actively hiring now. Roles like IT support, cloud engineers, even data analysts are popping up outside the major centers. So you need to think strategically about where you want to be.
Right. So it really broadens the options. You could be in a bustling city or maybe find something in a quieter regional spot. Lots of choice there. Okay, so with this booming market and opportunities spreading out, what specific roles are really leading the pack? Where's the highest demand right now?
Yeah, looking at the reports, a few roles consistently stand out. IT support technicians, for one, they're often a great way in for beginners. You're doing troubleshooting, setup, user support, foundational stuff. You've got business analysts, super in demand. They're the ones bridging that gap between what the business needs and what IT delivers, making sure tech solves real problems.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Cybersecurity analysts. This field is just exploding. It's not surprising with data breaches being such a constant threat, but it's shifted. It's less about just defense now, more about proactive risk management, compliance. It's become a critical business function, honestly.
Yeah. So they need people who understand the business side too.
Absolutely. Translating technical threats into business impact is a really valued skill there. And obviously, cloud engineers, AWS, Azure specialists. As companies move to the cloud, these roles are essential, non-negotiable, really.
Right.
Then for the numbers people, data analysts and Power BI developers, turning data into insights, dashboards, hugely valuable. Software developers, of course, JavaScript, Python, React, always needed across the board. And finally, don't forget network and systems administrators, managing infrastructure, virtual machines like Hyper-V, VMware, keeping the lights on, basically. Still critical.
Wow, that's quite a diverse list. If someone's new to tech or maybe switching careers, is there one role that's like a better starting point, a
Yeah.
good entry ramp into the Aussie market maybe?
That's a really practical question. IT support often works well, like I said, gives you broad exposure. But, if you've got that analytical mind, jumping into a data analyst role, especially if you can get up to speed with Power BI, that could also be a good path. Lots of companies are just starting to figure out their data. So, yeah, it really depends on your aptitude, where it aligns with that demand.
That makes perfect sense. So knowing the roles is one thing, but then how do you actually qualify? What are employers looking for? Skills, requirements, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the what do I need
Sure.
question. It's important. Look, a university degree can be helpful, sure, but it's not always the be-all and end-all anymore, which is good news for many. What really makes a difference often are specific certifications. Things like CompTIA for basics, maybe Microsoft certified for their stack, AWS Cloud Practitioner, ITIL for service management.
ITIL, what's that stand for again?
Oh, right. IT Infrastructure Library. It's all about best practices for managing IT services. Pretty standard in many larger organizations. And beyond the certs, it's practical tool knowledge. Active Directory, Azure, Intune for device management, Power BI, SQL databases, Windows Server, and ticketing systems are crucial. HALA PSA. ServiceNow, you need to know how to use those to manage support requests efficiently.
But here's the thing, it's not just the tech skills. We really can't stress enough how vital the soft skills are.
Ah, yes. Communication.
Communication, definitely. Explaining complex stuff simply. And problem solving, those are just as critical. Often they're what seals the deal.
So you need the tech chops and the people skills. It sounds like there are clear ways to upskill, those specific areas to target. Okay, so Australia is the place. You've got the skills, or you're working on them. How do you actually find these jobs? Where should people be looking? Right, the job hunt itself. You'll want to hit the main job boards first. Seek.com.au is huge in Australia. LinkedIn Jobs, of course, and Indeed Australia, too. They cover a lot of ground. And if you're a student or just graduating, check out Grad Connection. It's specifically for those entry-level graduate roles.
Makes sense. Are there other avenues maybe for more specialized roles or, a more direct approach?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where specialist IT recruiters come into play. Firms like PeopleBank, Hayes, Hudson, they often handle roles that aren't advertised publicly. They have deep industry connections. Definitely worth reaching out to them. And here's a big tip, something I always emphasize. Tailor your resume every single time for each specific job.
Every time. That sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but it's crucial. And more than that, pull keywords directly from the job ad and weave them into your resume and cover letter. This helps you get past the automated screening systems, the ATS, and makes it obvious to the human recruiter that you're a good match. Seriously, don't skip this.
That's solid advice. Strategic application, not just volume. Use the right platforms, tailor the message. Got it. Now, something specific. What about international students or migrants looking for IT work in Australia? It's a unique situation, right? Any specific advice there?
Yeah, it's a really important group to talk about. The good news is many companies, especially in those high-demand fields like cyber and software engineering, do sponsor visas. So if you're skilled and coming from overseas, don't automatically count yourself out of roles that might need sponsorship. It's definitely possible.
Okay, that's encouraging.
And building local experience is key. We often recommend looking into internships, even volunteering, maybe with nonprofits or local councils. It's a great way to get Australian work experience on your CV, understand the work culture, and build your network. Also, keep an eye on government or local council jobs. They often value community focus, ethics, teamwork, and sometimes they can be supportive of international candidates too.
So specific strategies exist. It's not impossible. There are definite pathways for international professionals. That's good to know. All right, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's pull back for some final thoughts. What's your overarching personal advice for someone starting out or maybe changing careers into IT in Australia?
Okay, some practical tips. First, and this is a big one, don't wait until you feel 100% perfect or ready. Just don't. Apply for jobs even if you only meet, say, 70% of the criteria. The tech world moves fast. You learn so much just by going through the interview process. You might even land the job.
Get out there, basically.
Exactly. Second, really polish your LinkedIn profile. Optimize it. Recruiters live on LinkedIn. They actively search for candidates there. Make it easy for them to find you and see your value. Third, if you're into coding or data, build a portfolio. Start a GitHub repository. Show your work. It's tangible proof of your skills, often more powerful than just a resume line.
Good point. Show, don't just tell.
Precisely. And finally, maybe the most crucial piece, commit to continuous learning, always. This field changes constantly. Luckily, resources are everywhere. YouTube, Microsoft Learn, Coursera, Udemy. Lots of free or low-cost options to keep your skills sharp. You have to stay curious, which actually brings up a key question for you listening right now. How are you going to build that continuous learning habit? How will you commit to it to stay competitive in this evolving field?
That's a great question to ponder. Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the Australian IT job market. We've gone from the why to the what and the how, covered the boom, the specific roles in demand, the skills you need, how to search, and even tips for international talent. Hopefully, this gives you a much clearer roadmap.
And just one final thought to leave you with, something to mull over. We've talked about today's high-demand roles and skills, but looking ahead, say 1 to 3 years, what emerging tech trend or maybe a niche within Australia's IT sector could be an unexpected sweet spot for your unique skills? Maybe it's green IT, AI ethics, health tech data. Where might your specific background intersect with the next wave?
Something to definitely think about. Reflect on these insights, consider where you fit, and what your next steps might be. Until next time on The Deep Dive, stay curious.